We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Thank you all for joining us this evening. As we typically do, we'll start this evening's meeting with our invocation, led by Vice Chairman Richard Helms.
Bow our heads, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we ask your blessings on the task before us tonight. Please give us wisdom and clear insight on our deliberations. Help us to recognize and honor those we have had the good fortune to work with, and every day. May we set an example of leadership by demonstrating true transparency and commitment to do thy will for our citizens. Also, may the personal faith give us the strength to act honestly and well in all matters before us. We thank you for the opportunity to meet with the Board of Education tonight and allow us to continue to improve our working relationship and improve our education system in the county. Please give special protection to our law enforcement and honor the service they provide our community. Also protect our military, firemen, and EMS personnel that risk our lives to ensure our safety. Finally, dear Lord, grant us the humility to always seek your will in all that we do and say. In thy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Tonight I have the privilege of recognizing the Master Gardener Program, and we have a proclamation that I'd like to present, and it states that whereas the Union County Extension Master Gardener Volunteer Program is celebrating 4 years of hosting the Union County Heritage Festival, and whereas the Union County Heritage Festival is an event that includes the Wild Turkey 5K Trail Run and Walk, provides exhibits, demonstrations, products, and hands-on activities for adults and children with all related to Union County and its heritage. And whereas the Union County Extension Master Gardener volunteers have been volunteering their services for 33 years providing horticulture and environmental education to local residents by developing and presenting school programs, sponsoring educational events, speaking to community groups, donating produce to support local food pantries, and whereas these dedicated volunteer educators use their love of gardening to enhance natural resources and environmental stewardship, improve health and wellness of Union County residents, and create and sustain vibrant communities and urban neighborhoods. Whereas the Union County Extension Master Gardener Volunteer Program sets a remarkable example of voluntary community service by returning to Union County in 2016 a value to their volunteer time of $145,554. Now therefore be it resolved that the Union County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim April 22nd and the week of April 23rd to the 29th, 2017 as Union County Heritage Festival Day and Union County Extension Master Gardener Volunteer Week. I would like to invite these ladies up. If they'd like to. On behalf of all citizens of Union County and the Union County Board of Commissioners, we're delighted to present this recognition to each of them.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. You're welcome. Come on up here. Right, thank you, ladies. All right, continuing with employee recognition. Oh, and before we continue with that, let's have a motion to accept and approve that proclamation. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None? Now we'll continue with employee recognition. We'd like to recognize these individuals that have had milestones anniversaries with the county. With 5 years of service, Rebecca DeGrief in Community Services, Lindsay Shuford in Community Services, and Decorah Bowers in Human Services. With 10 years of service, we have Tammy Kelbaugh in Human Services, Tim Spiesel in Community Services, James Kennedy with the Sheriff's Office, Krista Wallace with the Sheriff's Office, and Jessica Helms Nobles in Human Services. With 15 years of service, we have Cynthia Blackburn with Human Services, Devanya Mobley with Human Services. With 20 years of service, we have Johnny Stegall in the Sheriff's Office and Christopher Thomas in the Sheriff's Office. I'd also like to recognize these individuals who have rendered their service to the county and have made an election to retire. With 19 years of service, Robert Wilson in Public Works. 10 years of service, Philip Strawn in Tax Administration. 15 years of service, Elizabeth Miles with the Public Library. And 17 years of services, Vicki Cameron with Social Services. So we certainly thank all those individuals and appreciate their service to the county and its residents. With that, we'll move on to item number 5, which is a public hearing for Union Academy. Union Academy, a charter school founded in 2000, located in Monroe, North Carolina, provides K through 12 schooling for students and beyond the city of Monroe. And I will now open the county hearing, or the public hearing. Seeing that there is no one signed up for the public hearing, I'll now close the public hearing. That will take us to informal comments, which we have no one signed up for. Therefore, I will ask that we move to additions, deletions, and/or adoption of the agenda. And I'll also make it known that I'd like to remove item number 12 and 13 from the consent agenda. With that, I will entertain any additions, deletions, and/or a motion to adopt.
Mr. Chairman, can we add the, since there was no opposition to the public hearing, is that on tonight?
It is, it's in your consent agenda, yes, sir.
I'll make a motion that we adopt the agenda as amended.
Very good. Motion to adopt the agenda as amended. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None? That'll take us to our consent agenda. All in favor of approving the consent? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Thank you very much. Moving right along. That will take us to item 19 under old business for the Union County Public School request.
And yes, Chairman, Commissioners, these are two items that the board did not act on at your last meeting in reference to a request from Union County Public Schools. The requests are an additional $33,670 needed for the roofing project at Unionville Elementary School, which was funded in the 15-16 capital budget. Design fees were not included at the initial time of the request for BOCC funding. And they're also requesting $15,184 for the roofing project at Porter Ridge Elementary School, which was funded in the 15-16 capital budget, and design fees were not included at the time of the request to the BCC. It's my understanding that both of these projects have in fact been completed.
All right. Any discussion? Mr. Rush?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Last week, and before then even, we got an opportunity to go up with some of the members of the Facilities Committee up on the roof of Newtown Elementary, and that's what we were wanting to do. We'd asked to have that time, and I appreciate the school system for letting us do that. I appreciate Mr. Rape and Ms. Merrill and Ms. Heintal for going up with me. And I think Commissioner Helms also went up after that with the school board member Dennis Rape. We learned a lot, I think, about roofing. We were assured by the manufacturer that the roofs are still under warranty and that there can be some repairs done under warranty with that. So I was happy to hear that. I understand that these projects are already done, so I'll support paying the bill that's already due. And I think moving forward, I think we've got a commitment from you guys to look at the additional roofs and go forward.
Mr. Chairman.
Vice Chairman?
As Commissioner Rushing stated, I had the opportunity to visit Newtown's roof. And we went up on the roof and actually went up with a company that does roof inspections they put on roofs. They actually took some infrared equipment up there and identified, and we saw a couple problems with the roof, but the comment I got back from the inspectors was that the roof's in good shape, not a problem with flashing. And actually, I have a picture I was sharing earlier with one of the board members where one of the problems they found was actually a seam that from the original installation that was failing. Clearly a warranty issue. So I went back and reviewed the facilities meetings and our past meetings, and most of the information that we were given here in this room was not validated with the group we were with. And for that reason, it's falling into the roof. I can't support it. We need to be able to trust what we're told, and that's not what we have, what's been demonstrated to me. We walked numerous roofs there at Newtown, and there was one that had a hole like a screwdriver put in it. But I think the base cause is that it hadn't been maintained properly or inspected to the point to prevent these type of intrusions of water. The one we saw with the seam, it was a 6x8 section that had moisture underneath it that could easily be replaced, put a patch over that, and move on. So I've got to find some way to redevelop trust in what we're being told about the roofs.
Any other comments? Commissioner Rushing?
I think what I understand from the conversations is these two projects are already completed, been paid for, except for there was a design fee that has not been paid, and that's where we're going. Would any of you like to answer that, or?
Yeah, that is correct. The two roofs that are in question have been completed. All deduct change orders have come through, and these are the final amounts to basically close out the project. Yes, sir.
Okay. So is there an end date to this? That is this a we've heard before that something has to be done by a certain time. This bill's due. Are we going to start incurring late fees or anything on these bills, or?
It's my understanding we've already received the bill from finance. That's how we came upon this again, that we need to ask for additional funds. So we always paid net 30, so I'm assuming that we're approaching that limit.
Right. Now, when we were at the school, we talked about some design issues that allowed condensation underneath the roofs. That's not what was found. So is this design was this to correct anything like that? Or these design fees were just for the new roofs that were put on, or the additional?
These design fees were just for the new roofs that were put on at Unionville and Porter Ridge Elementary.
Okay. Have we found out that any of the future roofing projects may not need to be done other than warranty claims, or have we? Is there any changes been made to the aggressiveness of the roofing at the schools?
Currently, we have not identified any roofs for next year, other than one line item that we want to do is a complete audit of all of our roofs, so we know where we are. So we have a picture of, here's this roof, here's when it was put on, here's the warranty and or not, here's the condition of the roof. That is what we're proposing for next year, once it goes through facilities committee, finance committee, and everything like that.
Is that a change from what we did have? Did we have those roofs scheduled to be replaced? Do we have additional roofs scheduled to be replaced in the coming year?
No, sir. We currently do not have a schedule for next year for roofs to be replaced.
So everything's caught up now.
For the most part, yes. We're asking for $2 million a year for the next 5 years for roof maintenance and or repairs. But the first and foremost action is to get that roof audit to say, here's the state of all our roofs.
How many roofs do we have that are over a 15-year life?
If I told you, I'd be guessing and it'd be a made-up number. I'm sorry, I don't have that number for you.
I won't hold you to it. How about 5?
How many roofs do we have that are over a 15-year life
That are
left?
under 15 years old.
That are under?
I guess that are over, yeah, that are over 15 years old.
They're over 15 years old. I would say most warranties are there. Yeah, 5, 10, and I'm guessing. I can get back to you on that firm number if you
Out of
like.
53, out of 53 schools, we may have 5 or 10 that.
10 or, yeah,
More than
yes.
15 years old. And again, I would just say that this is probably different than something coming up. I mean, this is a bill already been paid, and I guess the vendors owed money. So, you know, again, that's why I would support paying this bill, because the vendor's already done the work and
Correct.
it's already been finished.
Yes, sir, you're correct.
And I think the new board, is addressing these issues going forward. So
Yes.
as a show of faith in you guys doing that, I'll still support it.
Why were the design fees not included at the time of the initial request?
To be honest with you, sir,
That'd be a good start.
yes, always. You may not like it, but I'll be honest. It was taken to the Facilities Committee January 5th of 2016, if I'm not mistaken, both these roofs at the same time. And just to be honest, the backup documentation and the numbers were developed over Christmas break, and there was limited staff available. So the numbers, they just did not capture the design fees. They took the overall budget number. Design fees were already there. We already paid for the design because that's what was put out for bid. That was not captured, and so they just simply took overall budget number. Here's the bid number. Here's what it's over. Here's what we need. So we did not include the design fees in the original request.
I believe that they were approved, that the design fees were approved on February 21st from the Facilities Committee, and then at the March board meeting by the full board.
I guess I kind of err with Vice Chairman Helms. I really have some concerns over how these roofs continue to amass charges, that whether it was oversight or whatever it was. So these bills are how old?
Currently, I do not know how old, sir. I can't answer that question.
But they were funded out of a 15-16 capital budget.
Correct. They're currently due after closeout documents, everything. Both projects have been completed.
And when were the projects completed?
I don't have that information for you. I'm sorry.
I think I'd like that information before I'm going to make a decision on that.
Can I ask another question, please, sir?
Vice Chairman?
Actually, I have two questions. One, I would assume contract process would have checkpoints or line items that you traditionally, in design is always going to be one of them. I'd like to understand why, this is not the first two roofs we've done. So why is that process not working? And secondly, are any of these roofs, and I know we'd have to go back and check, or where we've moved money from to other roofs?
Are any of these two roofs?
These two,
Yeah,
Porter Ridge and Unionville? No, sir. Money.
because we've moved money from roof to roof half a dozen times. And my question is, and I don't remember off the top of my head, were one of these roofs that we moved some money off to facilitate another roof?
No, sir. We
No.
moved.
Okay, that's all.
Those typically came from the bottom, so Western Union, I think is this one. So, not these.
Are these paid for from savings from other roofs? Or are these coming from money from future roofs?
Where we're asking for the funds to be currently moved to?
Right, Is
from?
this coming from a future roof? or-
No, this is coming from savings, recognized true savings from Walter Bickett Elementary and Weddington High.
Which have already been completed.
Correct.
Did we pay the design fees on those?
Yes, sir, we did.
You're
These
not
are
gonna
only
come
two
back and
design.
ask for those?
I'm sorry, sir?
You're not going to come back and ask for those later?
Absolutely not, sir.
All right.
These are the two design fees we missed.
I still stand by. I think I would like that additional information. I want to know when these roofs were originally completed. And, anybody care to make a motion?
Motion on the floor. No,
I don't believe we ever had a motion.
I'm supportive of it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'll make the motion that we delay it until we get the information that the chairman and vice chairman have asked for.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None? All right.
So you're clear on what, make sure they're clear on what we want, right?
I believe staff can communicate that with them. We move on to new business, appointments to boards and committees.
Just need a motion, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Motion to appoint Sharon Carter to the Nursing Home Advisory Committee.
All right. All in favor of appointing Sharon Carter to the Nursing Home Advisory Committee, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? None.
Make a motion that we accept the application of Gerald Brady for consideration on the Adult Care Home Community Advisory Committee.
All right. All in favor of appointing Gerard Brady to the Adult Care Home Community Advisory Committee, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? None. And that will take us to the county manager's comments.
And I have no comments this evening.
And we thank you. Commissioner Jerry Simpson,
No comments.
Commissioner Stoney Rushing.
Just again to thank the Board of Education for working with us on getting up and visually seeing those roofs, and I hope that, I look forward to working again with you in the future and planning for making things better.
Vice Chairman Helms.
I'd also like to thank the Board of Education for their dedication and transparency and their work with us. And, I think we're going to make a lot of progress, and I appreciate it. Also, I'd like to personally, publicly congratulate our chairman on his engagement
Thank you.
and wish him the best.
Thank you much. And I don't have any comments, but I will just echo and say thank you to the Board of Education for meeting with us tonight. And with that, I'll offer a motion to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None.